Hello everyone, welcome to this next session on advanced Java, and today we are going to see how to develop a simple Java Swing application. So in the previous programs of Java, I have shown you how to create a label, that is a J label, a J text field and a J button. So all these three things are Swing components. So in today's session, I am going to show how to integrate all these three components which you have learned and create a simple sample application. Before I show you the code, I just wanted to show you the output of this sample application. First you see the output of the sample application, and then we shall go and see the code and understand the individual components of that particular code. So let's directly dive into Eclipse and see how this program is working as of now. Okay. So this is the simple GUI application program which incorporates the components of swings. So let me run this code now. So I am running the code. So when I run the code, you are getting an output like this. So you have a frame, you have the title of the frame called fetch IP, you have a text box, and you have a button. So in the text box, I need to actually type down the address of a website. So let me type the address of my company website, say www.SPTech.com, and hit on this get IP. So see what's happening, it is giving me the IP address is 206.221.182.74. So that means this simple GUI application is accepting the address of the website and it is giving me the IP address. So IP address is the internet protocol address. So how is this working? So how do you write a program to actually do this? Now I will show you the program and we shall see how the logic of the program is working. Fine. So this was the screenshots which you have seen. I have taken the screenshots of the program. So on the left side you had the GUI screen where you had the text box, you had the swing button. So I am typing the website name, that is www.sptech.com, and when I hit on this get IP button, so it is going to give me the IP address. So what are the components which I have used here? So the first component is the frame. You know that frame is the placeholder where I put all the other swing components. Then you have a frame title. Now this is your J text field because the text field allows you to feed the data into the text. Now you have a J button. So this is the J button which has got get IP as the message on the J button, and you have an J label. So J label is a label which helps you to display the IP address. So how is this all working together? So now we shall go and see this particular program. So first I am importing javax.swing.star. You know what is this? javax.swing is a package, and I am importing all the classes of that particular package, and I am also importing java.awt.star, and I am also importing java.awt.event.star. This is because I am performing an action. I am using this action listener in this particular class because I am doing the delegation event model. Why I am using the delegation event model? Because when I click on this get IP, it is displaying me the IP address. So I have to listen to the click event of the get IP, and in the click event I have to display the IP address. So I have to make use of this java.awt.event.star. Now I have created a class called test which extends frame and implements action listener. You know what is this? Test is a class. It extends the frame class of the java.awt package and it implements the action listener. Now action listener is an interface. Now I am creating three variables, that is JT, JL and JB. So JT is a variable of the J text field class, JL is the variable of a J label class, and JB is the variable of a J button class. Now I have a constructor called as a test. So you know that a constructor will have the same name as that of the class. So that means this test is a constructor of the class test. Now in this constructor, the first thing I am doing is I am transferring the value to the base class by giving super of fetch IP. Now fetch IP is the parameter argument which I am supplying to the super class. So what is the super class of test? It is frame. So when I say super of fetch IP, that means I am calling the constructor of the frame class, and I am setting the title of the frame class. Now I am creating the text field object called as JT using this constructor JT is equal to new text field. I am setting the boundaries of the text field. I am creating an object called JL, or the component called JL, that is a label. I am setting the boundaries of the label. I am creating a button object called JB, and I am setting the boundaries of the button object. Now after creating all these components or objects, now what I am doing is I have to add an action listener. Now the action listener has to be added to the button, because based upon the click of the button I have to get the IP address of the website. So that means I am going to use the statement called jb.actionListener of this. So this demonstrates the current object. Now the current object here is JB. So JB is a button object, so you are adding the action listener, or you can say that you are registering the action listener with the button. Now you are adding the text component, the label component and the button component into the frame. After that you are setting the size of the frame, you are setting the layout of the frame, and you are setting the visibility of the frame to true. Now that completes your constructor. Now what is important here is now I have to see what I have to do with this action listener interface. We know that the action listener is an interface which has got an abstract method called action performed. So we need to override this particular action performed method. So I am overriding this action performed method here by accepting the action event class and the object of the action event class. Now I am putting the entire logic within an try catch statement by using exception handling, so that if there are any runtime errors, it will be caught by this try catch block. Now within this action perform event, what I am doing is I am creating a variable called host name, which is of the type string, and I am trying to get the value of the text field, and I am storing it in the host name. So that means when I type this value here, www.SPTech.com, it's a text field. Now remember that text field component is JT. So when I say jt.getText, what happens is this SPTech.com will be retrieved and it will be stored as host name. Now I want to get the IP address of this particular host name or the website address. So in order to get the IP address, I have to make use of a class called java.net.inet address. So java.net.inet address is a class, is a network class. So to this network class I pass the host name, that is get by name host name. So that means SPTech.com will be the host name. So to this I am going to use one more method called get host address. So the get host address will give me the raw IP address of that particular host www.SPTech.com in the string format. So that IP address will be stored in this variable called host IP. Now what I want to do is I want to display that particular host IP value now. So to display I am making use of the label. So you see that you have a label here. So the label component is called as JL. You are setting the label component, that is you are displaying the value of the label component as IP address is, that is it will display IP address is, and you are displaying in the host IP. Remember that the host IP is a variable which was actually computed by this particular statement in Java. So this is what you do in the action performed method. That means you are overriding this method in the action listener interface. Now in the main program, in the main method, so you are calling the instance of test. So you know that when you create an instance of a test class, that means a constructor is called. So when the constructor is called, the entire code within the constructor gets executed, and finally you get the desired output. So this is the output what you get. So once you get this output, that is, once you give this once you get this website name in the text box and hit on the get IP button, so you are going to get the IP address of this particular website. So thank you for watching this particular session. So I will see you in the next session, where I am going to teach you some more Swing components. Till then, take care. Bye bye.